The stars burned bright against the darkness of space as Ambassador Velnash's ship approached Earth. He had traveled for 3 weeks to reach this small blue planet on the edge of the galaxy. His silver skin reflected the light from Earth's sun as he stood on the bridge, watching the planet grow larger on the view screen. The ambassador felt tired. He had been traveling from world to world for 2 years now, asking for help, begging for soldiers, offering promises that his government might not be able to keep. The war had been going on for 300 years. 300 years of death and destruction that had consumed half the galaxy. The Synthesis Accord and the Dominion Collective had started fighting over a trade dispute that no one even remembered anymore. Now entire planets were reduced to ash. Billions of lives had been lost. Children grew up never knowing peace. The Galactic Council, the ancient organization that was supposed to keep order among the stars, had failed to stop it. Velnash had read the reports about humanity. These strange creatures had only developed faster than light travel 50 years ago. They were newcomers to the galaxy, barely children compared to species like his own that had been exploring space for 10,000 years. But something about humans caught everyone's attention. Their ships were faster than they should be. Their reaction times in combat simulations were impossibly quick. During the few pirate encounters that human vessels had faced, the humans had won against superior numbers. They fought with a creativity that confused military analysts. The ambassador's ship docked with the orbital station above Earth. The station was impressive for such a young species. Clean white corridors stretched in all directions. Humans in uniforms moved with purpose through the halls. Velnash noticed something interesting. Every human he passed looked him in the eye. Most species looked away from strangers, especially strange aliens. But humans met his gaze directly without fear or submission. It was unsettling. Captain Sarah Chen waited for him in the conference room. She was a small woman by human standards with dark hair tied back in a simple style. Her uniform was crisp and professional. When Velnash entered, she stood and extended her hand in the human greeting gesture. Her grip was firm. "Ambassador Velnash, welcome to Earth," she said. Her voice was calm and controlled. "Please sit down. Can we offer you anything? We have several beverages that are compatible with your biology." Velnash accepted a drink and sat across from her. Behind Chen, a large window showed the Earth below. The ambassador could see the brown scars of old wars on the planet's surface. He had read about World War III. The humans had nearly destroyed themselves 70 years ago. Nuclear weapons had turned cities to glass. Billions had died. Somehow they had pulled themselves back from extinction. "Captain Chen, I will be direct," Velnash began. "The Galactic Council needs Earth's help. The war between the Accord and the Dominion is consuming everything. If it continues, there will be nothing left to save." Chen nodded slowly. "We have been watching the war. It is terrible. We are sorry for your losses." "Then you understand why we need you," Velnash said, leaning forward. "Human military capabilities are remarkable. Your tactical thinking is unlike anything we have seen. With Earth's forces supporting the Council, we could end this war. We could save trillions of lives. What exactly are you offering?" Chen asked. Velnash activated a holographic display. Images of advanced technology floated in the air between them. Full membership in the Galactic Council. Access to our technology archives. Exclusive trade routes worth trillions of credits. Territory in the contested zones. You would have a voice in galactic affairs. You would be recognized as a major power. Chen studied the images carefully. Velnash watched her face, trying to read her emotions. Humans were difficult to read. They controlled their expressions better than most species. "And in return," Chen asked, "you commit your military forces to the Council's side. We estimate we would need at least 100 ships and 50,000 soldiers initially." Chen turned away from the holographic display and looked directly at the ambassador. "No," Velnash blinked in surprise. "I do not think you understand. This is an unprecedented offer. Species wait centuries for this kind of opportunity." "I understand perfectly," Chen said. Her voice was still calm, but there was steel underneath. "You are asking us to send our people to die in your war. A war that has been going on for 300 years. A war that started over trade disputes. A war that neither side seems interested in ending, only in winning." "We are trying to end it," Velnash protested. "That is why we need your help. Ambassador, with respect, you do not need our help to end the war. You need our help to win the war. Those are different things." Chen stood and walked to the window, looking down at Earth. Do you see those brown patches down there? Those are the scars from our last global war. We nearly destroyed ourselves. Billions died. Our planet was poisoned. It took us 50 years to rebuild. We swore we would never let that happen again. This is different, Velnash said. This is not your internal conflict. This is about the future of the galaxy. Chen turned back to him. Every war is about the future. Everyone always says this war is different. This war is necessary. This war will be the last one. But wars do not end because you win them. They end because people choose to stop fighting. Philosophy will not save burning worlds, Velnash said, frustration creeping into his voice. Neither will adding more weapons to the fire, Chen replied. Ambassador Earth's answer is no. We will not join your war. We will not send our sons and daughters to die in conflicts that are not ours. We will maintain our neutrality and our independence. Velnash stood. He felt defeated, tired. You are making a mistake. The galaxy will remember that Earth refused to help when it was needed most. Perhaps, Chen said, but our people will be alive to hear what the galaxy says about us. I am sorry, Ambassador. I truly am. I hope you find another way to end your war. The meeting was over. As Velnash left the station and returned to his ship, he looked back at Earth one last time. Such a small planet, such stubborn people. He did not know if he respected them or pitied them. Perhaps both. The ambassador's ship jumped to faster-than-light travel and disappeared among the stars. On the orbital station, Captain Chen watched it go. She felt the weight of her decision. She knew some would call her a coward, some would say Earth was selfish, but she had seen the casualty reports from the war. She had read the histories. She knew that once you entered a war like this, it would consume everything. Earth would remain neutral. Earth would remain at peace. They would build their defenses, explore the nearby stars, and stay out of galactic politics. It was the right decision. Chen was sure of it. 5 years passed. Earth continued to grow. More colonies were established in nearby systems. Human ships explored unclaimed space. The war continued in distant parts of the galaxy, but it did not touch Earth. Life was good. Then the Dominion Collective noticed humanity's expansion. They noticed Earth's new colonies. They noticed that humans were taking systems that the Dominion considered theirs by historical right. And they made a decision that would change everything. They decided that Earth needed to be taught a lesson about respecting their betters in the galaxy. War Premier Thax Corin stood in the command center of the Dominion flagship, studying the holographic map of the galaxy. His 4 eyes tracked the movements of fleets, the positions of contested worlds, the slow grinding stalemate that the war had become. For 3 centuries, the Dominion had fought the Synthesis Accord. For 3 centuries, neither side had gained a decisive advantage. It was infuriating. His tactical officer approached with the latest intelligence report. War Premier, the analysis of Earth is complete. Thax Corin took the data tablet and read through it. Humanity had refused the Galactic Council's request for military aid 5 years ago. Since then, they had established 7 new colonies in what the Dominion considered their historical sphere of influence. Not claimed territory, not occupied space, but systems that the Dominion had intended to expand into eventually. These humans are bold for such a young species, Thax Corin said. They refuse to take sides, yet they expand into our space. The space is technically unclaimed under galactic law, the tactical officer said carefully. Law. Thax Corin made a dismissive gesture. Law is written by the powerful. These humans think they can remain neutral while taking what they want. They think their refusal to fight means we will not touch them. He pulled up the military assessment of human forces. The numbers looked modest. Perhaps 300 ships total, mostly concentrated around their home system. Their technology was advanced but not exceptional. Their population was large but not overwhelming. On paper, they were a minor power. They refused to fight for the Council. Thax Corin said slowly. What does that tell us about them? The tactical officer hesitated. That they are cautious, peaceful? Weak, Thax Corin corrected. They are weak. They hide behind neutrality because they fear what would happen if they fought. Species that can fight do fight. Species that cannot fight make excuses about peace and neutrality. The War Premier made his decision. Prepare the 7th Battle Fleet. We will teach these humans about the cost of expansion. We will demonstrate Dominion strength. One of their colonies will serve as an example. After they see what happens when they disrespect us, They will either submit to tributary status or retreat back to their home system. Which colony should we target? The tactical officer asked. Thaxacoron studied the map. Proxima Centauri. It is their first extrasolar colony, so it has symbolic value. It is also small enough that the defensive forces will be minimal. We will broadcast the attack across all channels so the galaxy sees what happens to those who challenge Dominion authority. The 7th Battle Fleet was one of the Dominion's primary military formations. 150 warships, each one a masterpiece of engineering and firepower. They assembled at the rally point and prepared for the jump to human space. Fleet Admiral Korvax received his orders directly from the war premier. You will jump into the Proxima Centauri system. You will destroy all military installations. You will bombard the colony from orbit until it is uninhabitable. You will broadcast our demands to Earth. They will have 48 hours to respond with full submission, or we will cleanse another colony. Korvax saluted. He was a career military officer, a veteran of 100 battles. He did not question orders. The fleet jumped to faster than light travel. On Proxima Centauri, life continued normally. The colony was small, home to 12,000 people. Families worked in the underground farms. Children played in the habitat domes. Scientists studied the planet's unusual mineral formations. It was peaceful and quiet, far from the troubles of the galaxy. The defense station picked up the incoming fleet 6 minutes before they arrived. Station Commander Williams stared at the readings in disbelief. 150 ships, battleships, cruisers, destroyers, a full battle fleet. Sound the alarm, Williams ordered. Get everyone to the shelters. Send an emergency broadcast to Earth. We are under attack. The defense station had 12 ships, 12 small patrol vessels designed to handle pirates or rescue operations, not military invasions. Williams knew they could not win. They could not even slow down an attack of this size. But they could buy time for the civilians to reach the shelters. The Dominion fleet arrived in a flash of light. They immediately locked weapons on the defense station. Williams opened a communication channel. This is Commander Williams of Proxima Centauri Defense Station. You are in human territory. State your intentions. Fleet Admiral Korvax appeared on the screen. Your colony has been judged in violation of Dominion interests. You have 40 minutes to evacuate. After that, we will commence bombardment. Evacuate? Evacuate to where? There are 12,000 people here, including children. We need days to evacuate properly, not minutes. That is not our concern, Korvax said. This is a demonstration of strength. Your government will understand the message. The channel closed. Williams looked at his crew, young men and women who had signed up to protect colonists from asteroids and equipment failures, not to fight a war. All ships engage the enemy. Make them work for it, by every second you can. The 12 human ships charged the Dominion fleet. It was hopeless, suicidal, and they did it anyway. They fired every weapon they had. They rammed damaged Dominion ships when their weapons ran out. They died one by one, and they took 3 Dominion vessels with them. In the colony below, people ran for the deep shelters. Parents carried children. The elderly were helped by neighbors. Not everyone made it. Some were still above ground when the bombardment began. Dominion warships fired plasma cannons at the habitat domes. The protective shields collapsed in seconds. Atmosphere vented into space. Buildings crumbled. The underground shelters held for a while, but concentrated fire broke through eventually. 12,000 people died in less than an hour. Engineers and teachers and doctors and children. All gone. The Dominion broadcast the attack on all frequencies. They wanted everyone to see. They wanted the galaxy to understand what happened when you crossed them. When it was over, Fleet Admiral Korvax sent his message to Earth. The Dominion Collective demands Earth's immediate submission. You will cease all expansion. You will pay reparations of 1 trillion credits. You will accept Dominion oversight of your military. You have 48 hours to comply. If you refuse, we will cleanse another colony. This is the price of your arrogance. The message reached Earth 12 hours later. It played on every screen, every communication device. People watched in horror as their colony was destroyed. They saw the defense station's last stand. They saw the habitat domes collapse. They saw everything. The United Earth Assembly held an emergency session. Representatives from every nation gathered. Some called for immediate retaliation. Some called for negotiation. Some called for surrender to save the other colonies. The debate raged for hours. Admiral Sarah Chen sat quietly in the back of the chamber listening. She had been promoted over the years and now commanded Earth's entire military. She had watched the broadcast 7 times. She had seen Commander Williams and his crew die buying minutes for civilians. She had seen the faces of children in those last moments before the domes collapsed. Finally, the Speaker of the Assembly called on her. "Admiral Chen, what is your military assessment?" Chen stood and walked to the podium. She looked out at the representatives, at the leaders of Earth. When she spoke, her voice was cold and controlled. The Dominion made a mistake. They assumed that because we refused to fight in someone else's war, we cannot fight at all. They assumed our desire for peace meant we are weak. They killed 12,000 of our people to prove their strength. She paused. They were wrong. I request that the Assembly authorize full military mobilization. The Dominion wants us in this war. Now they have us. The vote was unanimous. The shipyards came to life like sleeping giants awakening from a long rest. Hidden facilities throughout the solar system activated systems that had been in standby mode for years. In the asteroid belt, inside hollowed-out rocks the size of small moons, construction bays opened their doors. Around Jupiter's moons, in Saturn's rings, behind the dark side of Mercury, shipyards that the galaxy did not know existed began their work. Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of the carrier Defiant, watching the display screen show ship after ship emerging from concealment. The numbers climbed steadily. 100 ships, 200, 300. These were not patrol vessels or scouts. These were warships, built slowly and secretly over 50 years, while humanity maintained its peaceful appearance to the galaxy. All vessels reporting ready for combat operations, her tactical officer reported. All crew at battle stations. All weapon systems operational. Chen nodded. She had spent 5 years hoping this day would never come. After the Dominion's attack, she had spent 3 days planning to make sure when it came, it would be devastating. The galaxy had made certain assumptions about humanity. They assumed Earth built a defense fleet to protect their home system. They assumed the 300 ships they knew about were all that existed. They were wrong on both counts. What humanity called a defense fleet was actually an invasion force waiting for a target, and the 300 ships the galaxy knew about were only the ones humanity had allowed them to see. In total, Earth was launching 600 warships. Not impressive by galactic standards where empires fielded fleets in the thousands, but every human ship incorporated lessons learned from watching the Galactic War from afar. Human engineers had studied every battle, every tactic, every weapon system used by both sides. They took the best ideas, improved them, and added innovations that were uniquely human. Human ships were faster. The drives were more efficient, the jump calculations quicker. Where a Dominion fleet needed 10 minutes to jump to faster than light travel, human ships needed 3. In battle, that difference could mean life or death. Human weapons hit harder. Instead of one type of energy weapon, human ships carried 6 different types: plasma cannons, railguns, missiles, lasers, particle beams, and something new that humans had invented called a pulse cannon. They could adapt to any situation, any defensive shield configuration, but the real difference was not in the ships. It was in the people. 12 billion humans had just learned that someone attacked their children. 12 billion humans wanted revenge, and when humanity mobilized for war, the entire planet became a factory. Production facilities that made civilian vehicles retooled to build tanks. Factories that produced farming equipment switched to building weapons. Shipyards that constructed cargo vessels started building warships. Every resource, every worker, every computer, all focused on one goal: make the Dominion pay. Chen had implemented something called Protocol Olympus. It was a war plan that her staff had developed over the years as a contingency. The plan did not just target Dominion military forces. It targeted their economy, their supply lines, their communication networks, their morale. Humanity would not fight a traditional war. They would fight a human war, with all the creativity and ruthlessness that implied. Special forces units were already deploying. These were not regular soldiers. These were men and women who had volunteered for experimental programs. Genetic enhancements that made them faster and stronger. Neural implants that improved their reaction times, chemical augmentations that let them go days without sleep. They were the best of the best, and they were angry. One team infiltrated a Dominion logistics hub and destroyed 3 months' worth of supplies. Another team sabotaged a ship construction facility, setting back production by a year. A third team identified Dominion collaborators in neutral territory and eliminated them. The Dominion found themselves fighting an enemy they could not see, could not predict, and could not stop. But the real blow came at Proxima Centauri. The Dominion's 7th Battle Fleet remained in orbit around the destroyed colony. They were sending sensor data back to Dominion High Command, demonstrating their power, waiting for Earth's surrender. Admiral Korvax sat in his command chair, confident and satisfied. In a few hours, the human deadline would expire, and they would receive Earth's submission. The fleet's sensors detected the incoming human ships 3 minutes before they arrived. Korvax frowned at the display. The humans were sending ships? To attack with what? Their small defense force? Then the human fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel, and Korvax understood his mistake. 600 ships, 600 human warships appeared in a perfect attack formation, weapons already charged, targeting solutions already calculated. All ships, battle stations, Korvax shouted. Return fire! But the Dominion fleet was not prepared for combat. They were in occupation formation, spread out, relaxed. The humans gave them no time to reorganize. The first wave of human missiles struck before the Dominion could raise their shields to full power. 12 ships destroyed in the opening seconds. The battle was chaos. The Dominion fleet tried to form defensive positions, but human ships moved too fast, attacking from too many directions. Human tactics made no sense. Ships would charge directly at Dominion vessels, weapons blazing, not caring about damage to themselves. They would break off at the last second, leaving the enemy confused and vulnerable. Other human ships would hang back, supporting their charging comrades with precise long-range fire. Korvax had fought in 100 battles. He had faced the best the Synthesis Accord could offer, but he had never faced anything like this. The humans fought with coordination that should have required hours of planning, yet they adapted their tactics every few seconds. They fought with a fury that bordered on madness, yet their accuracy never wavered. They are not trying to force a retreat, his tactical officer said with horror. They are trying to kill all of us. The officer was right. In traditional galactic warfare, once one side gained clear advantage, the losing side retreated. Territory changed hands, ships were damaged but could be repaired, crews survived to fight another day. But the humans were not interested in making the Dominion retreat. They were hunting them down, ship by ship, and destroying each one completely. Admiral Chen watched from the Defiant as her fleet executed the attack. Her face showed no emotion. She gave orders in a calm, steady voice, but inside she felt the cold satisfaction of justice being done. This was for Proxima Centauri. This was for Commander Williams and his crew. This was for 12,000 civilians who died for no reason, except to demonstrate someone else's strength. Focus fire on the flagship, Chen ordered. I want Fleet Admiral Korvax to understand what he started. 20 human ships concentrated their weapons on the Dominion flagship. The shields collapsed under the assault. The hull breached in a dozen places. Atmosphere vented into space. On the bridge, Korvax watched his fleet die around him. He tried to send a message to Dominion High Command, to warn them about the humans. But his communications were jammed. The last thing Korvax saw before the bridge exploded was Admiral Chen's face on his view screen. She spoke 4 words. This is for Proxima. The Dominion's 7th Battle Fleet was completely destroyed. 150 ships reduced to debris. 12,000 Dominion crew members killed, the same number as the colonists they had murdered. Not a single ship escaped to report what happened. After the battle, Chen broadcast her own message to the Dominion Collective. She stood in front of the ruins of Proxima Centauri colony, her uniform stained with ash from the destroyed habitats. You came to our home. You killed our children. You thought you could frighten us into submission. You were wrong. The Terran Defense Force is coming for you. We will take your colonies. We will destroy your fleets. We will burn your supply lines. And we will not stop until you understand the cost of attacking humanity. She paused, looking directly into the camera. You wanted us in this war. Now you have us, and you are going to regret it. The message was broadcast across the entire galaxy. Every species, every government, every military heard it. The Galactic Council watched in shock. The Synthesis Accord watched in cautious hope. And the Dominion Collective watched in growing fear as they realized they had not attacked a weak, peaceful species that would submit to threats. They had attacked Earth. And Earth had just declared total war. War Premier Thaxcaron had not slept in 3 days. He stood in the Dominion Command Center, staring at tactical displays that showed nothing but bad news. Red markers indicated destroyed fleets. Yellow markers showed supply routes under attack. Orange markers represented facilities that had gone offline. The map of Dominion territory was covered in warnings and alerts. How? Thaxacoran asked for the 100th time. How are they doing this? His military advisors had no answers. In the 6 months since Earth declared war, the Dominion had lost 40% of their fleet strength. 30 colonies were under human occupation. Supply lines that had operated smoothly for centuries were in chaos. And worst of all, the Dominion military was terrified. Soldiers who had fought bravely against the Synthesis Accord for decades now hesitated, panicked, and sometimes refused to engage human forces. The humans fought differently than any species the galaxy had ever seen. Traditional warfare had rules, patterns, predictable strategies based on mathematics and logic. Human warfare had no rules. It was creative, chaotic, and absolutely terrifying. A Dominion admiral reported from the front lines, "War Premier, the humans have taken the Corvin system. We sent a fleet of 80 ships to retake it. They were ambushed by a force half their size. How does a smaller force ambush a larger one?" Thaxacoran demanded. "Your ships have sensors. You should have seen them coming. The humans hid their ships in the debris field from a previous battle. They shut down all power, making them look like wreckage. When our fleet entered the system, they powered up and attacked from 6 different directions at once. We lost 40 ships before we could organize a defense. The rest were forced to retreat. This was typical of human tactics. They used deception constantly. Fake retreats that led into ambushes. False intelligence that made the Dominion move fleets into traps. Captured Dominion ships that were repaired and used against their former owners. The humans seemed to enjoy being unpredictable, but the deception was only part of it. The humans also fought with an intensity that made no sense from a strategic perspective. Every battle was personal to them. Every soldier fought not for territory or strategic advantage, but because they were angry. The Dominion's attack on Proxima Centauri had created an entire species that wanted revenge. Worse, human commanders made decisions impossibly fast. A Dominion admiral might spend hours analyzing a tactical situation, running computer simulations, consulting with staff. Human commanders looked at the situation for seconds and gave orders immediately. Sometimes their decisions seemed reckless or even suicidal, but somehow they worked. Captain James Rodriguez led a squadron of human destroyers called the Ghost Squadron. His tactical approach was typical of human commanders. In the battle for Threnix Station, Rodriguez faced a Dominion fleet 3 times his size defending a critical shipyard. Traditional tactics said he should wait for reinforcements. Mathematical analysis said an attack would result in 70% casualties. Rodriguez attacked anyway. His 20 ships charged directly at the Dominion fleet at maximum speed. The Dominion opened fire, expecting the humans to veer off or slow down. Instead, Rodriguez's ships increased speed. They took damage, ignored it, and kept coming. At the last second, when collision seemed inevitable, the human ships broke in different directions. The carefully aimed Dominion fire missed completely, hitting empty space or friendly ships. While the Dominion fleet was recovering from confusion, Rodriguez had his ships target the station's docking clamps. 20 precisely placed shots released the half-built warships under construction. The massive vessels drifted into the Dominion fleet, causing more chaos. Rodriguez's squadron then jumped to faster-than-light travel before the enemy could regroup. The shipyard was disabled. 20 incomplete warships were destroyed. The Dominion fleet was damaged and demoralized. Rodriguez lost 3 ships. By traditional standards, it was an acceptable loss. But the humans mourned their dead intensely while celebrating the victory. Human special forces were even worse than the fleet actions. These enhanced soldiers conducted operations that became legendary across the galaxy. A team of 15 humans infiltrated a Dominion command base, stole intelligence data, and destroyed the base's fusion reactor. Another team held a defensive position on Kovash III for 3 weeks against 10,000 Dominion soldiers, buying time for civilian evacuation. The most disturbing incident was what the Dominion called the Ghost Fleet Incident. Human ships appeared in a Dominion supply convoy route. The ships moved strangely, with reactions too fast to be organic crew. They destroyed 30 supply vessels and disappeared. Later analysis revealed the ships were piloted entirely by artificial intelligence. The humans had created AI commanders for combat situations. This violates the Sentient Rights Treaty, a Dominion official protested. Using AI in warfare is prohibited. The humans responded simply, "We did not sign that treaty. And after you killed our children, we do not care about your rules." The psychological impact on Dominion forces was severe. Soldiers began reporting nightmares. Some refused to go into battle. Others would surrender immediately when human ships appeared. The Dominion had fought the Synthesis Accord for 300 years without this kind of morale collapse. But the Accord fought a traditional war. The humans fought to win, using every advantage and every weapon they could imagine. 6 months into the war, the Synthesis Accord sent a diplomatic envoy to Earth. Ambassador Velnash, who had visited Earth years before, returned. He met with Admiral Chen again, but this time in a Dominion space station that the humans had captured and repurposed. Admiral Chen, "The Accord wishes to coordinate our military efforts," Velnash said carefully. "The Dominion is fighting a two-front war now. If we work together, we could end this conflict." Chen looked at him with cold eyes. "Ambassador, I told you 5 years ago that we would not fight in your war." "That remains true. We are not fighting for the Accord. We are fighting against the Dominion. There is a difference. But surely coordinated attacks would be more effective. We do not need your help to defeat the Dominion. We need you to stay out of our way." Chen pulled up a tactical display. "In the next month, we will take these 15 systems. I am informing you so your forces do not interfere. If Accord ships enter these zones during our operations, we will consider them hostile." Velnash was shocked. "You cannot simply claim entire sections of space. We are not claiming them. We are taking them from an enemy who attacked us. What happens to those systems after we take them is something we can discuss when the war is over. Until then, stay out of our way." The Accord had no choice but to agree. They watched in amazement as human forces systematically carved through Dominion territory. The humans did not occupy every world they conquered. They destroyed military facilities, took any resources they needed, and moved on. They were not trying to build an empire. They were trying to destroy an enemy. War Premier Thaxcoran finally admitted to himself that he had made a terrible mistake. The species he had assumed was weak and peaceful had turned out to be the most dangerous military force in the galaxy. He tried to open negotiations. He sent messages offering reparations, offering to rebuild Proxima Centauri, offering peace. Admiral Chen received his message in her quarters on the Defiant. She watched the War Premier's hologram deliver his carefully prepared speech about regret and peace and cooperation. When it finished, she composed her response. "War Premier Thaxcoran, you attacked Proxima Centauri to demonstrate your strength. You killed 12,000 civilians to frighten us into submission. You broadcasted their deaths to the entire galaxy as a warning. Now you ask for peace because you are losing." Chen's voice was cold and hard. "You do not get to attack our people and then ask for peace when it becomes inconvenient. You wanted this war. You started this war. Now you will finish it one way or another. There will be no negotiations. There will be no treaties. There will only be your complete military collapse or your unconditional surrender. Those are your options." The message ended. Chen deleted the War Premier's plea for peace without saving it. The human advance continued. More fleets destroyed, more colonies taken, more supply lines cut. The Dominion Collective, which had fought for 300 years without being defeated, was being systematically destroyed by a species that had only known about the Galactic War for 50 years. The galaxy watched and learned a lesson that would be remembered for generations. Never assume that a peaceful species cannot wage war, and never ever attack humanity's children. The war ended not with a dramatic final battle, but with a transmission from the Dominion core worlds. 18 months after the attack on Proxima Centauri, the Dominion government sent a message directly to Earth. Not to the Galactic Council, not to the Synthesis Accord, to Earth alone. Admiral Chen received the message on the bridge of the Defiant. The Dominion's new leader, Premier Cavaxin, appeared on the screen. Thaxcoran was gone, removed from power by his own government for the disaster he had created. "Admiral Chen, the Dominion Collective requests terms of surrender," Cavaxin said. His voice was tired, defeated. "We acknowledge our unprovoked attack on Proxima Centauri. We acknowledge the deaths we caused. We wish to end hostilities." Chen studied the alien leader for a long moment. Around her, the bridge crew was silent. They had fought for 18 months straight. They had lost friends, family, comrades. They had pushed themselves beyond exhaustion many times, and now the enemy wanted to surrender. Premier Kevaxen, these are Earth's terms, Chen said. The Dominion will reduce its military to 30% of current strength. All ships above destroyer class will be decommissioned. The Dominion will pay reparations to Earth totaling 5 trillion credits to be paid over 50 years. The Dominion will cede all systems within 20 light years of human territory. The Dominion will permit human inspection teams to verify compliance with these terms. Finally, the Dominion will publicly acknowledge responsibility for the Proxima Centauri massacre and will help build a memorial on that world. The terms were harsh but not genocidal. Chen could have demanded complete disarmament. She could have demanded the Dominion be broken into small, powerless states. She could have demanded territory that would cripple their economy. She did not. The goal was not to destroy the Dominion species. The goal was to ensure they never again thought attacking humanity was acceptable. We accept your terms, Kevaxen said quietly. There is one more condition, Chen added. Any Dominion citizen involved in planning or executing the Proxima Centauri attack will be turned over to Earth for trial. That includes all officers from the 7th Battle Fleet who survived, all government officials who approved the attack, and anyone else involved. Kevaxen hesitated, then nodded. We accept all your terms. When will Earth forces withdraw from Dominion territory? When we have verified compliance. When our inspection teams confirm the military reductions. When the first reparation payment is received. When the individuals responsible for Proxima Centauri are in our custody, then we will withdraw. Chen leaned forward slightly. And Premier, understand this clearly. If the Dominion ever threatens human territory again, there will be no warnings, no negotiations, no mercy. We will return, and next time we will not stop until your species is broken. Do you understand? We understand. The transmission ended. Chen sat back in her command chair and closed her eyes. It was over. The war was over. They had won. Around her, the bridge crew erupted in cheers. People hugged each other, laughed, cried. 18 months of constant combat, of losing friends, of pushing beyond all limits, and they had survived. They had won, but Chen felt no joy, only exhaustion and sadness. She thought about the 12,000 colonists who would never see this victory. She thought about the 8,000 human soldiers who had died in the war. She thought about Commander Williams and his last stand at Proxima Centauri. Victory did not bring them back. News of the surrender reached Earth 12 hours later. Cities around the planet celebrated. People danced in the streets. Families hugged each other, grateful their loved ones would be coming home. But there were also memorial services, quiet gatherings where people remembered those who would not return. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session 3 days later. Representatives from every major species gathered. Earth was invited to send a delegate. Admiral Chen attended personally, the first time she had appeared before the council. The council chamber was enormous, designed to hold thousands of beings. Holographic displays showed representatives from across the galaxy. At the center was the council leadership, ancient species who had guided galactic affairs for millennia. The council speaker, a tall being with crystalline skin, addressed the assembly. We gathered to discuss the conclusion of the war and Earth's actions. Humanity has fundamentally altered the balance of power in the galaxy. The Dominion Collective, a force that fought the Synthesis Accord for 3 centuries without defeat, has been brought to surrender in 18 months by a single species. There was murmuring throughout the chamber. Some species sounded impressed, others sounded afraid. Earth's military capabilities have exceeded all predictions, the speaker continued. Their tactical innovations have changed our understanding of warfare. Their resolve has been absolute. The question before us is what role Earth will play in galactic affairs going forward. Ambassador Velnash stood to speak. The Synthesis Accord wishes to offer Earth a formal alliance. We have seen their military power. We believe that together we could ensure lasting peace in the galaxy. Other species offered similar proposals. Trade agreements, military alliances, technology exchanges. Everyone wanted to be on good terms with the species that had just won a war in record time. Admiral Chen listened to all the proposals. Then she stood to address the council. The chamber fell silent. Every being wanted to hear what Earth would say. Members of the Galactic Council, Earth appreciates these offers. Chen began. Her voice was calm but firm. But we must be clear about our position. Earth did not fight this war to become a galactic power. We did not fight to conquer territory or build an empire. We fought because the Dominion attacked our people. She looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of various delegates. We told you 5 years ago that we did not want your war. We wanted peace. The Dominion mistook our desire for peace as weakness. They learned the truth too late. We are not weak. We simply prefer not to fight. Earth will accept a permanent seat on the Galactic Council. We will participate in diplomatic affairs, but we will not be anyone's military ally. We will not commit our forces to conflicts that do not concern us. Human territory and human lives are our priority. The speaker leaned forward. And if there is another crisis? Another threat to galactic peace? Then the galaxy will do what it did before humanity arrived. You will handle it yourselves. Chen's expression hardened. But understand this. Any attack on human territory, any threat to human lives will be met with the full force of Earth's military. We do not seek war, but we are very, very good at it when necessary. She paused, letting her words sink in. The Dominion thought they could frighten us. They thought one demonstration of force would make us submit. Instead, they gave us a reason to show the galaxy what humans can do when we are angry. I hope no one else makes that mistake. The council chamber was silent. Then slowly, species began signaling their agreement. Earth would have its seat on the council. Human territory would be recognized as sovereign and inviolable. New treaties were drafted with protections for neutral species, preventing what happened to Proxima Centauri from happening again. These became known as the Proxima Accords. Any unprovoked attack on neutral territory would result in a unified galactic response. The galaxy had learned that ignoring aggression against minor powers eventually led to conflicts that consumed everyone. Admiral Chen returned to Earth 3 weeks later. A massive celebration was planned, parades and ceremonies and speeches. But Chen asked for something different. She went to Proxima Centauri. The colony was still ruins. Broken domes, collapsed buildings, scorched ground. Human engineers were beginning reconstruction, but it would take years to restore. Chen walked among the ruins alone, her footsteps echoing in the empty streets. She found the spot where the main habitat dome had stood. 12,000 people had lived here. Families, children, people building a new life among the stars, all gone in an hour because someone wanted to demonstrate their power. Chen knelt and placed a stone on the ground. It was a piece of rock from Earth, from the memorial garden where the names of the dead were carved. Others would add stones too until there was a cairn, a permanent marker of what had been lost. We won, Chen said quietly to the empty ruins. You should be here to celebrate with us. I'm sorry you are not. She stood and looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Dominion was dismantling their fleet. Somewhere out there, the galaxy was adjusting to a new reality where humanity was a power to be respected and feared. Somewhere out there, species were telling the story of Earth's war, turning it into legend. But here, in the ruins of Proxima Centauri, it was not legend. It was real. 12,000 real people had died real deaths, and Earth had learned a lesson that would shape their future. Peace was preferable to war, but peace had to be backed by the willingness to fight. Humanity would always prefer to avoid conflict. They would always try diplomacy first, but if someone forced war upon them, they would wage it with every ounce of creativity, determination, and fury they possessed. The galaxy had been warned. Earth hoped the warning would be enough, but if it was not, if someone else made the same mistake the Dominion had made, humanity would be ready. They would always be ready.